Welcome to Chuco Chica. Let me introduce you to the ultimate booty bosses, Cachis and Nurse B. They are on a mission to redefine beauty standards and promote a holistic approach to wellness. These booty bosses and mother and daughter duo believe that a balanced and empowerment peach goes beyond physical appearance. It's about embracing your strength, loving your body, and radiant confidence from within. Who doesn't want to be an algona? Girls, thank you so much for coming. I want to talk about your business, Balanced Peach. Can you share with me who created the name and how this started?
We both did, but to kind of give you a little backstory and she could finish it off, our first name was actually Peach Lab when we first started. It was just kind of like Peach Lab because we wanted to create an atmosphere for people to just work on their booties and like come together and pretty much have fun and enjoy. But then we took a turn with the name, and then you could tell them that you could tell them that cheese mate.
I know that's a little bit of chisme. So it just began like that, but as we grew and we actually had a place to have our classes, everybody was like, we're going to Peach Lab, we're going to Peach Lab. So we get a letter and an email from an attorney, a cease and desist to stop using the name Peach Lab. So it turns out that somebody trademarked the name, and we checked the dates, and we believe we started it before, or if it was more or less at the same time. It just came at a good time because we had already been growing with it, and we just, it was a shock, like, well, that's our name, why are you gonna take it off? And then we were at a crossroads. Do we fight it because we feel we did it first? And then I told her, you know what? I feel like this is a sign. I think our community grew. So maybe we just need a name that describes what's happening in our community better. And I said, I don't want to spend time and money fighting it. I said, let's just go with it. And then at that point, we had already introduced messages. So the biggest thing from the get-go, to even give you more of a backstory, me as a nurse and as a health coach, I know that you get success when you work from the inside out, because everybody really does know what's better to eat than not, but you don't do it because we all have past experiences, old programming. That is what keeps you from being healthy. So at the beginning, if we thought, well, I'm going to post, hey, let's all get together Sunday morning and talk about our traumas and triggers and feel better about ourselves, well, no one was going to show up. So then it had to happen kind of organically as we grew together. Post-workout, we do a message. And it's a message to, hey, this is a new perspective. Let me open up your eyes to this. What if you do this? This is a new habit. This is how you grow. This is how you tackle a trigger and be aware of it. So at the point where we had to stop using Peach Lab, that's where we were at. So then we said, what kind of describes where we're at? We're fitness from the inside out. So then we're like, oh, balanced peach, because at the end of the day, you need balance in your life. If you don't have it, you can have a perfect body with muscles, yet you still go home and binge and cry because you really did not heal the inside. And then that's how we're like, you know what? This fits us better. Balanced peach. So it was like a blessing in disguise. It sucked, but then we're like, oh, okay, thanks. This fits us better.
We turned it around.
Yeah.
We turned it around.
I feel like everything happens for a reason. And, that name, I guess, wasn't meant to stay forever. And a new vision came.
Yeah. It did.
That's amazing.
It kind of fit us better at the time.
I like it.
Yeah.
And the way you guys are publicizing it on Instagram and your website, the peaches, the cute emojis,
Yes.
I think they're so much better, honestly.
Yeah.
But
It worked.
that's awesome.
So we kind of said, don't fight it. And it was odd also because the messages we were giving were about, you know what? when you think life is going a certain way and you get thrown a curveball, you have to adjust. You have to be resilient. You can't just sit there and cry and be like, oh, well, it's over. And then that happened. And I told the Peaches, all right, we're going to practice what we preach. Like, this was a curveball. Do we like it? No, but we're going to make it to our favor and it's going to work. And then everybody just was like, you know, we like it better. And
That's
I said, okay.
awesome. And so I'm sure your community, well, I've seen on Instagram, your community has grown so much. Can you tell me about where you guys started in terms of people?
Oh
Wow.
man. So we first had our first, I'll never forget it. We had our first class at this place she used to do kickboxing at because we got along with one of the trainers, and he's like, yeah, you could use the space to do a booty
Because
class.
it was raining.
Yeah. Because we couldn't do it outside. The weather was just not good, and we're like, no, well, okay, we have a spot. We probably had, maybe like 12, 13 girls that showed up, but we were like, well, it was her first time giving a class. I mean, obviously, I invited friends, like whoever could show up. At first, you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, but we're doing it, and here we are, and you're like, okay. And then we're like, well, why don't we start? One of her friends was like, why don't we like do classes in parks in different areas of El Paso, so we could just go and check out different parts of El Paso, and like, I don't know, that'd be fun. So we're like, okay, cool. And then, yeah, sometimes we would have like 5 people.
Let me tell you.
Yeah, I mean,
It was a thing that once we started it, it's almost like once you say it, you just have to go with it and do it. But there was times like where it was a holiday or there was a football game, and I remember she would ask me, "Are we gonna cancel it?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it, and we're gonna be consistent. It's every Sunday at 9. I said, because if we're inconsistent with it, we're never really gonna grow. They're not gonna take us serious, because it just started as, I would get that question a lot. How can I grow my glutes? What can I eat? And then I thought, well, you know, this is kind of like common ground. Again, my backstory was like, I know what they need, but that's not what they're gonna accept. And growing your glutes or exercising together in a different type of environment was more doable. So then our friend Jess would pick the park, then we would just announce it. We're gonna be at this park at 9. But sometimes we had 13, sometimes we had 2.
Wow.
2. I can show you pictures where it's me and 2 girls. And sometimes we were 10. Sometimes we were 35. It was so random. And then sometimes it was like back to 2. And, you know, like, I think like any business in general, that's when you're just, you know, it kind of gets you down a little. But then you have to say, no, I'm going to be just as happy and just as enthusiastic, and I'm going to kick their butt the same as if I have 1 or if I have 30 or if I have 80. Like, I don't care, and we're not canceling it.
And
Like,
let me
it's just
tell
gonna
you,
happen.
we did not cancel. One of the classes we did was like, the weather was cold, and I'm telling you, like today, like 100 miles an hour wind. And girls were like showing up here and there, but they were like iffy. And I'm like, are you sure we gotta just cancel it? And like, we did the class.
And I was like, no.
One of my friends, like her sarape, she brought sarape, and like it was blowing on her. Like, we were doing class, could barely hear each other. Wind, dirt was hitting us.
Everybody's coffee was on the floor because it got blown.
Yeah.
And then the banter queen, that's the only reason why she wanted to have a mic, honestly. One of our friends, Ruby, her eyelash was like trying to fly off. And then this one goes up to her with the mic. ¿Qué onda, Ruby? ¿Te gusta el abanico que te traje? And she's like trying to squat with the... And I was just like, you know... And she just couldn't stop laughing. And then I think at
that point, I was like, I want to leave. I want to finish this class, but I'm going to give you this shit. Like, I'm like, I would need to give someone shit to get me through this workout.
She give me like the side eye, like, mom, like, stop. And I'm like, I'm just going to keep squatting. We're going to keep doing. I'm like, I'm going to avoid seeing her. And then I think that was the class when the Squid Games had come out. And everybody was dying, like, doing thrusts. And then she's like, this is booty class Squid Games. And everybody was like...
And
So
then I just started playing like the song. I
yeah.
was like, pa que se asusten.
She's like, you guys
I was
better
like, well,
do
we
it.
check
And
it
I was
out.
like, oh my God. But you know what? I think at that point, they could see our energy, how we treat each other. And from the get go, it was like, and I even said it in my first class when fitness was not popular. I was in a point in my life where I was like, yeah, I'm a mom, but I don't want to have a mom bod. I want to leave my kids like a different legacy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In our Hispanic culture, you always want to inherit a house and money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's great. But if I can give you an inheritance of healthy
Health.
habits and you don't have to take 20 pills when you're 50 and you can just be happy and have inner peace, I'm like, I'll make you a millionaire. And at that point, I was like, I need to change something because we all grew up eating food that wasn't the best for us. I was no different. But also, when I wanted to start this journey and I didn't know anything about it, there was only like two girls that actually had muscles in El Paso, which was like, oh my God, like they're toned. I remember going up to them, the looks they gave me, and they looked at my body like, oh, you have really big hips. You should just eat well and exercise more. And I was like, what does that mean? Like, how many carbs do you eat? And they were just like, oh, you have big hips. And for me, the very first class, I told them, this is why we're doing this. Like, share information. If something worked for me, it might work for you. I'm like, no sean envidiosas. Women need to stick together. I'm like, I got treated really badly when I just wanted information. Like, they were like years ahead of me. I was no threat to anyone. And I said, our environment is going to be like that. I'm like, mean girls, like, don't come because we're not for you. Like, there's something for everyone. I'm like, our environment is somebody squatting. If I have cellulite and if you look at it, don't make a face. Like, it's just, we're here to be like,
Embrace it.
you got this. Like, that looks cute on you. And you know what? I believe in the law of attraction. I believe in God.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
all our communities like that. And if maybe somebody went one time and didn't go back, maybe we just weren't there by. But it's really nice to see that the women that do go and stay and constantly come, they're like, wow, it's safe. Like, we're used to mean girls, dirty looks, side eyes, and there's nothing like that. But it's comfortable because we're all females. There's no like, oh, everybody wants that guy. It's like, no, girls, like,
We're here to work.
girls
Our
need a
ass
little
off.
safe space, like, where
Yes.
you can be you, like, squat, work on it.
Leave
Just
coming to the gym. Leave everything.
yes, I'm like, your
door.
kids will be fine. Stop thinking about laundry and cooking and bills right now. Right now, it's you. It's me time. I'm like, fill your cup. Then there's something to pour over when you go home. I'm like, but if your cup's always empty, like, you give everyone the worst version of yourself. I'm like, give everyone your best version, but you got to take the time to fill up your tank a little. Yeah.
I think for women in general, it's always go, 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 go,
Mhm.
go. I'm overthinking. We have a long list to do,
Mhm.
and we don't take a step back and say, what did I do for myself today?
Exactly.
What did I do for others today?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it's hard, but I'm loving that message that you're putting
Yeah.
out to your peaches,
Yes.
your beautiful girls that go to your
Yes.
classes, and just embracing that
Yeah.
about them.
And that's something that you just said right now. I always tell them it's time for you to be on the top of your list. It's not selfish.
Mm-hmm.
I said, because when your cup is full, you treat your kids better. They get the happy you. They don't get the, I haven't slept. I need 10 cups of coffee today to put up with you. I'm like, you're not listening to them. You're on your phone while they're trying to share something of their life. I said, your husband, your partner, the same. Your coworkers, you're just disliking them because you're so empty. I said, so bump yourself up. Be on the list at least, because as mothers, we're givers. As women, we just know how to give and we don't know how to receive. I said, learn how to compliment each other. Like, one quick example is, and I won't even say that Peach's name, but when she started with us, and she's one of the OG ones, super timid and very beautiful, but it's as if no one had ever told her she was beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, I wish, and I tell the Peaches, I wish you guys could have my eyes for a day. Because when you guys walk in, I see unique. I see one of a kind. I see masterpiece. I say, you're so pretty within your own way. I
Mm-hmm.
said, but I wish you could borrow my eyes so you could see that about yourself. And one day I told her, you know what? Why don't you wear shorts? You have such pretty legs. And she
Mm.
was like I never wear shorts. And I'm like, why not? Recently she sent me a message. She's like, I just wanted to tell you, you're one of the main reasons I even like believe and have confidence in myself. And I'm like, wow, because when I saw her, I'm like, why wouldn't you be confident? Like, don't you have mirrors in your home?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's just that maybe no one tells them, or they have forgotten that about themselves,
Mm-hmm.
or they're just so used to taking care of everyone that it's like, well, what about me? And it becomes a habit that sometimes you don't realize that you keep repeating. So this space is kind of like, girls, open up your eyes. Like, you guys are one of a kind. That's actually, we have socks that say one of a kind. I'm like, you all need daily reminders. Like, it's just what there's just one of you. I'm like, that's pretty special. God made you and threw the mold away. I'm like, why do you let people step on you? And another thing I tell them is like, you're the only one that can give life as a woman. I say, you guys forget that, like how special it is. So treat it special, who you're going to give it to, who you give your time to. So that's all the messages that we do at BP that are important.
It's amazing. And those affirmations every time they go to class, I'm sure, and I know, just hearing you guys talk, they feel empowered. They feel that like that bitch. They feel like their legs are beautiful, and they are. And so, like you said, sometimes people forget that.
Great, sorry. And what's crazy is that we've seen them have their moments. Like you never know what anyone's going through, and there's been times where she'll be giving a message and someone's going through it. One cries, she said, or it just hits something in their whatever they're going through in that moment. And I think, like she said, like I think the girls that go, like by going, they remember and like they get that reassurance that damn, like I am important, I am special, I am one of a kind. And I think they just forget it, and like going there is just so nice to like not be the only one that's going through
Going through
something.
something.
Like it's cool to be like, oh, I'm not the only one. Like okay, like someone in this group is going kind of something to whatever it may be, and it's like, and it's okay, and it is okay. That's why we're here, and that's what's cool about it. Like especially that with her messages, like someone can connect with it. It could be in that. I don't know.
Or someone maybe just needed to hear that
Yeah.
that day. Like that's like perfect. And to make it even more safe, I don't care if someone's late. I'm not that instructor. She does, but she calls it out like in a funny way. But for me, it's like, I don't know what you're going through. I have not walked in your shoes. And if my class is an hour and you show up 30 minutes late, maybe you went through horrible things to get there. I'm just happy you're here. Because I've even been through two classes where they just close the door if you're late and stuff. And I'm like, no, you just never know. And I've had personal messages where they're like, you know what, I wasn't gonna go, I was crying, I was feeling this way, and something told me just go. And then they'll be like, I felt like the whole message you were talking to me, it's what I needed to hear. I even had someone that said, for some reason I went to your class and I felt suicidal that day. She's like, and I was gonna go to church and I don't know why I went to you. And she's like, what you talked about was exactly what I needed to hear. And I thought, wow. And don't get me wrong, I have moments where I'm like, all this time and all this, the classes are free, all this. And sometimes I'm like, but then I'm like, okay, God, I know I was doubting, but I get the message. I heard it loud and clear. Because sometimes when you don't get certain feedback, you're like, am I just talking? But then I thought, no, it's grown in a good way. And I think we're to the point where they're actually speaking up. Like, I'll be like yelling and you gotta squat, you gotta do this. And I'm like, girls, if you feel a certain way, yell it. Like, cheer each other, like say something. And then now they're coming out of their shell little by little. I'm like, no one ever told us we could be vocal or we can cheer each other up. I'm like, it's just us. I'm like, just if there's ever a place to do it, I'm like, this is it. So, little by little, you could see more of their individual personalities. Where at first it's like, I don't know anyone, and it's like, but you will. Like, it's not a big deal.
The proof is in the pudding. Again, the affirmations that you're giving to them, they're like, okay, let's do it. Let's work together.
Yeah.
We're in this together. Your legs are hurting. My legs are hurting
Yes.
too. Let's just do it.
Yes. And you know what? I don't stop. When I teach, I do what they're doing. Because I've had a lot of instructors that they want me to do like something ridiculous, like 100 burpees, but then I don't see them doing it. I'm like, how come you're not doing this with me? So again, a lot
You're
of what I
feeling the
do
burn, too.
is because of what I've done, and I know how I felt as a student. And I'm like, girls, you think I'm not hurting? I'm hurting, and I'm encouraging you. Like, don't stop, believe in yourself. You can do it. I'm like, it hurts me too. I'm like, I just have the pressure that all of you guys are looking at me. But so that's what I do try to do. I'm like, it's not just me. It's not. I just don't expect it from you. I'm also doing it. So.
And that's a huge difference as a business for health and wellness that it makes here in El Paso. I don't think a lot of people do that. How coaches literally do the workouts with their students.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad you guys are.
I'm like, this is it. No excuses.
Well, I don't do the whole one because I'm too busy giving banter and making sure they do it right. Because someone needs to do it.
We need
That's
that.
still a
Someone
hard
needs to
job.
keep it
Okay?
funny.
That's the balance and
Yeah.
balance peached.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we love it when she's here. I mean, of course, I miss her because it's kind of like that. They get the seriousness, or like, come on, we're staying on track. We're not canceling. We're doing this, and then she'll be like, God, hopefully Nurse B doesn't have another song for us. We want to go, or it's like, okay, cool.
The banter that you provide.
See, or like we'll be dying, and then I'm like, there's songs that we danced when it was like like what, to the window, to the wall, and then like we'll be playing that one in class. I'm like, when did this song all of a sudden get so long? I'm like, because I'm dying and I need the song to finish like now, and it just keeps going. I'm like, longest like song of my life, but I love it.
Oh,
But it's fun. Yeah.
that's awesome. So the business duo, you take care of the classes and the mindset, as both of you guys do. But Cachis, the social media aspect and the business side of that part of Balance Peach, can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So it's been a process. I mean, when we first came up with now Balance Peach, because like I said, we had another name. We knew when we first started, we kind of knew the direction. We just would post like where the classes were. And I feel like now that we've been growing, it's interesting to look how now our content is. It's like developed the way it is now, right? Before we were just posting kind of, like quotes or messages that we believed in. We didn't have a direct thing like this is how we want it to be. We are just kind of like this, starting to find like our style, if that makes any sense. And what's interesting is like I do it, but obviously together we like look, okay, yes, no, we plan it. We're very like OCD because like we have planoli, so I'm like planning like how it's gonna look. And we may not agree or see eye to eye with how maybe some things, because we're both artistic, and like sometimes I like visual and sometimes she's more like, but they need to see this. And it's like we make we're really good at compromising. Sometimes I'm like, no mama, like that's a very mom post, like no mama. And you know what I mean, like it's like, and yeah, I don't know, I lately have been trying to add a little bit more humor into it, because like that's me doing, since I'm not physically there anymore, I do like the reels and stuff, and I'll be catching some of the peaches like behind the scenes. Like one of my really good friends who is one of them, like she'll do like this crazy move, like she's up in the air with like the bands, and I'm like cracking up because I'm so like, the girls in the background are just like, is she really gonna make us do this? Like, está loca? Like, and like, but they do it because they're like, well, we're all here. Like, obviously, we're gonna try. I don't know if we'll succeed or my legs will go up as high, but like, I like zoom in on her like the dun dun dun. I'm like, what? I'm like, I swear, I'm like looking at you, and it's just like, I'm gonna make this a meme. I'm gonna make it like humorous because I'm like, we are funny too. Like, we don't take our working out too serious, and I've been trying to express a little bit more. So like, people that wanna come, I'm like, I feel like they get intimidated or like they get timid and they like hesitant and they're like, I want to go and like I've always wanted to go, and I'm like, just go. It could be you could go to just one, and you don't have to go all the time. Yeah, like I have a lot of girls that they're like, girls just go. Like you asked me like that you're shy, and it's like, don't just come if you're shy. Like you don't even have to like stay the full class if it doesn't if you, it's not for you, it's not. So I've been trying to make it a little bit more welcoming, I guess I want to say.
And I think we are. We always ask, like, is this the first time you're here? And they're like, and we're like, you're a peach now. And everybody, like, will start clapping. And we have, as you go up the stairs, we have like a chalk door. And I say, this class is free, but you're ticketed. And I'm like, you grab a chalk and you write something you're grateful for. I'm like, you don't have to write just one thing. But I said, I need you to get into the right, like, mindset, get in the right zone. I'm like, put something that you're grateful for and then come in. Find your spot, and then, that's kind of how we do it. But a lot of girls have been telling us, or we have friends that go and they're like, "Oh my god, our friends are like, they're intimidated to come." And I'm like, "Why? We're just girls." Well, they think the exercises look intense. And that's one thing I don't budge on.
Yeah.
I am very extreme. And I'm like, we all got two legs and we all got two arms. I'm like, and you can do it. I'm like, you don't realize that by doing certain things, you're also breaking other molds in your life. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. I'm like, if you think this workout is too tough and you don't want to come out and try it, you're never going to try anything else in life. Then you get stuck in a job forever because you don't want to try something else. You're always going to be scared. You're always going to be,
Self-doubting,
yeah, just
overthinking,
everything. I'm
all
like,
the-
so I set the bar high. Like the classes are for sure an hour, but it's nonstop. And if you compare them like to other things, I'm like, you're like, if you can make it here, you're gonna make it like in so many other things. Like that's just how it is. The trampoline class that I do now on Thursdays, it's 30 minutes, but the girls burn what you would burn maybe 2 hours on a treadmill. You burn it in 30 minutes. Like I'm like, I raise the bar because I'm like, I believe everyone can do it. I say we're all on different levels. The only thing I have on you is maybe I've been doing it a little bit longer. I'm like, but don't get discouraged. You're gonna get there. You're gonna pass me. I'm like, you're gonna pass me. That's the whole point. I'm like, that's why I'm here and that's why you're here. So I don't baby anything and I don't modify anything. I just refuse to because I'm like, if I'm doing a squat, you know your body better than I do. I'm like, but don't cheat yourself either. I'm like, because then you're going to cheat yourself with everything. So that's one thing I do. I keep the bar high and I keep it there and I don't modify.
Period. Period.
Period.
Mic drop.
Así yo. Yo.
I just don't.
With the mindset that you're instilling in your kiddos, your students, and viewers on Chuco Chica, did you grow up with this mindset from your parents or grandparents of let's do it, figure it out, or was it more you learning on your own?
I feel like I just grew up in that environment. Thank God. Thank God for all the adversity, all the lack. But then I was also very blessed. And I was I'm the oldest grandchild and I'm a female. So I grew up with boys. So I had to hold my own. I had to learn how to defend myself. I had to learn how to not be a crybaby. And I only have one brother and he's 6 years younger. So I had to learn how to protect him too. And I think it was just the way I grew up. It was, we never came home crying like someone's bothering me. Someone called me this. I'm being bullied. We would just be like, Like I remember one time somebody was bullying my brother, and that boy had older sisters, much older than me. And I was like, oh no, no one's bothering my brother. So I remember no one had a cell phone, obviously. I'm on my grandma's landline. And I'm like, girl, I'll meet you, at Hillside because we
La
grew up in the
chola, se me
'03.
salió la
Yeah.
chola,
And
la
I was like, I'll
chola.
meet you, at 6 o'clock, and we're gonna throw down. I'm gonna beat you up. You better tell your brother to leave my brother alone. And I remember hanging up, and I was like, oh my god. I'm like, she's gonna like murder me. Like she had this like reputation of being a peleonera, and they were way older than me. And I remember, and my brother was like, don't go. And I'm like, I gotta do this because, they're gonna keep bothering you. And I was like, man, and I'm telling my grandma, I'll be right back. I remember walking to the school and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna get a beat down and she's probably gonna bring friends. And I was by myself and I was like, ni modo. I'm like, I gotta do it. And I remember I was there. The girl didn't show up. And I was like, so I go back home like an hour later, right? And she calls me. She's like, you this, and this. I was waiting for you. I was gonna kick your butt. Ooh, I was like, oh no, you didn't. I'm like, no, you chicken. I was like, you didn't show up. I was there. And that's just how I learned. And I was like, and you know what? They never bothered my brother. And yes, and it was just either that or I was always selling something at school. Again, lack also makes you be resilient. It just makes you push harder. You know, at the time you don't see it and you kind of wish it wasn't your situation. But it was, and I would go to Juarez with my grandparents, and I would ask my grandpa if he could buy me mazapanes, garampiñados, and I was always selling something at school. Like, I remember having this little pocketbook full of quarters, and since I was in elementary, and it just carried on. I think my environment was great. I did have a balance. I was loved, but we never ate out. And now I'm thinking, well, thank God. But it was just like we always ate at home. We did with what we had. And we were always outside playing chinchilagua. We played with rocks. We played with baseballs, whatever we had. And we just made it work. And we knew how to just pull our own weight and defend ourselves. So then when I became a mom, I was like, the last thing I want to do is raise a brat. Why? One, no one likes brats, honestly. Like, and two, I was like, they're gonna get so bullied in school if they're brats. Like, how sad. Why would I do that to my own child? So that's how I raised my 3 kids. Even if I could give them something, I wouldn't. Because I'm like, you gotta have a balance of not having everything and then, kind of working for it. And it just carries over. Like, even to the peaches, I'm like, okay, so boo-hoo, not everybody has everything. I'm like, you want something, work a little harder. Like, even when they were little, I was like, I don't believe in this everybody wins thing, especially in children, because I think you make them lack something, like resilience. You make them lack this hunger that they need in life just to succeed in general. And like, if they wouldn't win and they would cry, I'm like, don't cry. I'm like, you didn't win. What do you need to do? Maybe you need to practice more. Maybe you need to do this. So then I just, without thinking about them, that's how I raise them, right? I'm like, there's only a winner and a loser. I'm like, when you lose at something, we'll work harder. I'm like, it's not a big deal. I'm like, it's an opportunity for growth. So fast forward, she's an adult and she tells me, hey mom, I want to compete in a bikini competition. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm going to tell you what to eat, what to work out. So she did great. She's in this competition. First time ever. She gets first place in the hardest category, which is called overall, because that means overall you were first place. So after we're having dinner, and I'm like, Cricket, I'm so proud of you, And then she's like, well, I didn't get first place in all 3. She placed in all 3 categories. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what do you mean? Well, you always told us if it wasn't first place, we're losers.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, you were listening. And I'm like, but you got I'm like, but you got a first place in the overall. So, it was just having everybody have realistic expectations. Yes, we all like to win, but when you don't work a little harder, something's maybe not for you. It shouldn't make you lock yourself up in a closet and cry all weekend, or maybe binge and take you back to old habits. We've all been there because we emotionally eat. I've done it. I've emotionally binged horrifically. And at Taco Bell, when I wasn't a vegan, I think at one time I ordered the whole menu of Taco Bell and I ate it all. And my kids were like, wow, Mom. I was like, I know. I feel better now. I feel better now. So, yeah. But,
Yeah, shout out Taco Bell.
like, oh,
Crunchy
yeah.
tacos.
Yeah. But I'm vegan now. But, I mean, we've all been there. We can all relate. But it's just like, it's more like, what did you learn from it?
I like how you brought in childhood. I think my mom's a teacher and I babysit here and there. And so I see all types of parenting styles. And one of them is positive reinforcement. But I think, in my opinion, sometimes it's too positive to where kiddos aren't content when they actually win something. Or, like you said, get number one. Because they're told that, so often. So it doesn't really mean much when it does happen. And so I think you're on.
And if you didn't earn it, you're not gonna keep it. That's just in general. You know what I mean? If you're always positive reinforcing, is that what they call now soft parenting?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm like, because I recently heard that term
I don't
actually
even know
from.
what that term
I
is.
know. I heard it from a
but-
pastor that I love to hear her messages, and she's like, I'm more like soft parenting. I'm like, what is that? And I just. I
That's
think you
small.
need to not me. I don't know if that applies in Mexico, but it's like you said. Then when do they really feel they get there? When do they really feel they did something to earn it? It's kind of like it applies to everything. When you work hard at your job and you get a promotion, you're going to keep it. Why? Because you earned it. If you lose the 10 pounds you wanted to lose, you're more likely to keep it if you earned it. And I mean earned it. I'm not saying just, take a pill or do something. If you earned it, you're going to keep it. Even in parenting, I think I'm like, yeah, I earned those kids and I earned my relationship with them. The people that know us, I always tell them, I have 3 soulmates and they're my kids. I have 3 best friends, and honestly, they're my kids. And I just think I earned that relationship.
That is so beautiful.
She's like,
I'm just like so angry. Yo, Mama, que cursi. But okay.
But I'm like, you might not get it at the time. But for me, I'm just like, I earned that relationship I have with them because I've been with them. So I keep it. Anything I think you earn, you will more likely to keep. And I think if everything's positive, yes, I think we should be positive because there's some kids that grow up with no positivity. But then you should earn it.
It's a balance.
Yeah.
It's a balance.
It's a
Exactly.
balance.
It
Yeah.
really is. You can't, like you said, if everything is like, oh, that's great, sweetie. No, it's not. Like, no, it's not. Not always, Like, you could do better. What did you learn from it? What could you do different?
Right.
Maybe we need to work a little harder.
And I see this sometimes in me and my friends too, how when we step into, the real world, it's hard out here.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Rough.
It's
I'm
rough out
tired of
here.
being God's strong soldier. Así ya, Dios, mira. Tira
Yes. And they're not going to tell you, that's great.
paro. Sí, no.
You're doing awesome.
Exactly.
No, they're going to fire you. You
Exactly.
get somebody mean that, their workload becomes your workload, and then you don't know how to be like, no, girl, that's your responsibility, not mine. Like you said, you give them no real skills.
Right.
I mean, honestly, like no real skills. Like I had to tell them, not everybody's gonna like you, and that's okay. Like you need to be able to live with that. That's okay. Like do your best. I would always tell her, run your own race, stay in your own lane. Like it's okay to not be everyone's favorite person. Like Get over it.
I would rather be myself than be for everyone.
Yes.
Because those that are for you, it's going to be amazing and magic just unfolds.
Yes. And sometimes that takes time, and that's the type of reinforcement you need. You know, it's okay. But then you tend, kids, at least maybe middle school age especially, they gravitate to the ones that are not for them. And it's like, what are you doing? Why are you trying to please them? Like,
Right.
you're going about it the wrong way. And you know, the real world, like you said, will slap you around a little, push you around a little, and then, you know, you shine through, hopefully. So
Absolutely.
and adulthood does the same thing. It has its own struggles.
Right. I don't think it's too late to always have a new perspective.
Exactly.
Or a mindset. And, you know, sometimes it just takes someone to say something or to see something or be inspired by someone to have that light bulb and be like, it's not too late for me.
No, exactly.
To change.
Yeah, they think that they're, and we have all ages, honestly. At BP, we have all ages, and sometimes, like you say, I'll be doing the message, and I can see some eyes, and you just see like this light bulb, like, oh, I could do that too. Absolutely. Even if no one told you, if you don't have a mom that cheers you up, I'm your mama
mom.
peach. Like, no, like, I'm here to tell you, like, and one of our messages was about breakups. And I'm like, you know what? Breakups are necessary. Sometimes you got to break up with your family. Sometimes you have to break up with food. Sometimes you have to break up with, you know, certain habits. But, you know, I saw these little light bulbs. I'm like, sometimes your mom is not your best friend. You know, sometimes she could be your enemy. Unfortunately, I've seen, and they've told me about some moms, and I'm like, yeah, that's not what your mom should tell you. You know, you need a new role model, or you need to maybe make sure your ear's not a trash can. Like, go somewhere else, listen to new things, protect your ears, you know, protect your mind.
I was gonna say protect your time. I think that's
Time.
yeah,
We're
like
big on
time.
that.
I think we're really big on that, and I mean I've been learning it recently a lot. Like especially with like focusing on balance peach. Like I'm like I just have no time to give because I just want this to like I have so much visions. We have so much visions and dreams for it that it's like the right people will always come. Like you know when you stick to it, right? You stay in your own lane. And but time as with this is just insane how you're gonna have people that like respect it and you're gonna have other people that they're like, whoa, why don't you have time for me? And it's just like I have this and I need you, like if you really love me enough, like you'll understand that it's bigger than that. Like I just right now my time is just so focused on this, like, and it's because it's important to me. So I feel like if I'm important to you, like you'll understand, you know. And I think that's really hard for people, especially if I'm a people's pleaser, if that's the word term. But and I think a lot of people tend to be, depends, but yeah, I think time is gold, and I'm for everyone. I think they should see it like that because I think people are really easily to give time to things or people or that probably doesn't like feed their soul or their time or like
they're just not aligned with your purpose. They're not aligned with your goals. And you need to learn to say, wow, I outgrew you maybe, or you're not in the season I'm in. And that's what I tell, you know, the peaches, which we recently just had a message on purpose. And I was telling them, you know, be patient because once you actually find your purpose, and I said, and you've had little gut feelings about it, I'm like, just be very mindful and be curious when you're doing things or when you enjoy doing something. I said, because it's like little hints. Because I was telling them, one of my favorite authors has this quote that I love, love, love. It says, if prayer is you talking to God, intuition is God talking to you. And that one just
Chills.
Yes, that one stays with me forever because I always tell them, every time you didn't listen to your gut, it just did not go the right way. That was God like telling you, do this, don't do this. So that's that's just the thing I tell them. It's your intuition has been there, and it's kind of been giving you hints on your purpose. And I said, and I will tell you this now, I feel like I'm like, wow, this is my purpose. I get it, but I can see back and now see, okay, now that I know why God made me do this. I know why He made me go through this. Thank you. Um, and then you get to this. So I said, right now, time is a limited resource. I don't care if you're a billionaire, you can't buy more time. Time is time. Like everybody has a certain amount of time. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care how powerful you are. It's a limited resource. I said, so once you know at least your goal, you're working towards your purpose, you want to fulfill. I said, then you're going to be more open to, this friend is inviting me to, I don't know, go out and party or go do this. If it doesn't align with where you're going, you're just going to lose yourself. You're busy. It's just busy work. You say yes to everything and then you never get to where you're going. I said, so be mindful of it. I said, you don't get a redo over on that. I said, keep going. And then it's easy to say, well, this is an alignment. This isn't. This is a yes. This is a no. I said, you're in that season. You need to gravitate towards other people in that season because you guys are going to thrust each other in the right direction. I said, and you need to be okay with outgrowing certain people. I said, that's just life. They're in a season. You're in another season. That's how it's supposed to be. I said, some people are in your life temporarily for a season or two. I said, some people are bridges and you weren't meant to build on a bridge. It's just a bridge. So
thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
I want to step in more of the financial business side of things. How much did you have to invest in your first property or your property for Balanced Peach?
Okay. Well, I was lucky that I already owned that property. But as time went by, we kept thinking, man, she was like, Mom, like, we need a place now because
I was like, I'm done with this wind and these temperatures. I was like, ya no puedo. I was like, ya,
there
por
was a
favor.
day, estábamos llenos de toritos from the park.
Yo, ya, basta con esto.
Like all red eyes with wind and everything. So she was like, yeah, we kind of really need a space. But, like any business, there's always like, man, do I want to go get a loan? Because then you need all this startup. And my whole thing of having a free class from the get-go, because she was like, Mom, it's going to be free. And then some of my friends like, why don't you charge for this? I was there at one point, like when I was a young mom and there was every excuse to not do something. And I get women in that sense to where, well, I need to buy my kids this. My husband's going to say, well, that's not in our budget. So I wanted to create a space not only for women, but where there was zero excuses. It's awesome. It's free. Like, where's the no? Where's the but? So that was the whole point of making it free. Like, if you're that mom in that situation, and I've been there, done that, like, he cannot give you a no. You can't give that no to yourself. It's free. Like, just come and feed yourself, and then you're going to be so much happier. So it was free. So then, we're like, do we want to rent a spa? Because everything was out of pocket.
Right.
So I just started thinking, in my property, I have a 2-story building. And I thought, well, what if I move some tenants? And by move, I mean almost kick them out. So I literally started with like one hall. It had storages on both sides. So that whole second floor had 4 rows of storages. Okay. Some I was lucky enough to be able to move, but most I lost that business. So I was like, man, I'm like, God, I'm listening to you. The hints are like loud and clear. I have faith. I'm like, I know you want me to do something with this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to lose this income. I said, but we need somewhere to be. So I had my handyman and he started removing all the partitions and I had to help them take them downstairs because I was like, I don't know, I don't want to sell them. I don't know what to do yet. Like, talk about cuts. The metal pieces are like 10 feet.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Brutal. And then it was cold when we were doing that.
Uh-huh.
So we still had class. If you see some pictures, you just see like a ugly cinder block wall and a cement floor.
When we first started, like, it was that row only. Like, now you'll see it. I mean, as it is, I'm like, no, pues no fue un upgrade, pero porque está más frío, like, it's piso más frío que la chingada. I was like, o sea, todas con chamarras todavía. And like, but we're like, well, this is, we gotta do it. We're here. We're like, pues bueno, quedarnos todos afuera ahora, ¿verdad?
And then sometimes I had a tenant that was like late to move. So you see empty space and one storage in the middle.
Oh.
And it was just like,
it was weird.
Was like weird, but it was like whatever. And then, little by little, it was like, all right, let's paint this wall. And then it was like, all right, let's buy this mirror. And then that was completely full. Like, we were almost kicking each other.
Because it was tiny. It was tiny. So it was just like one row. And they were like, oh, man, like, I don't think that's good cut.
But
like,
you know what? When she says tiny, that building is like 40 feet long. Wow. It's not tiny. But it was like, wow, like, you know what? Now they're consistently coming. And then I was like, all right, we gotta clear out the other one so we have the whole upstairs to ourselves. But it was like, even on the second row we cleared, it had like all the electricity like hanging. I was like, Peaches, don't get near it. Like, get over here.
We can't afford
you beware.
To be a please,
And that's just really kind of how we did it. We wanted to keep it free. All we started with was like 3 t-shirts, right?
Yeah,
but you know what? The best thing has been, you kind of just never know. You just like, let's go with it. But it's the same. Peaches was like, oh, I wish you guys had like caps. And I was like, all right, let's get some caps. I wish you guys had some leggings. Literally, I had this rack I would just roll out in class, and you would just see it over there. And thank God the Peaches are like so supportive. Of course, we had our bands.
I was gonna say our first product
was the bands.
Because we're like, all right, the class is free, but you gotta buy the bands, obviously. Because then how are you gonna do the class?
But we don't even make them buy it.
We don't.
Like, if you have your own band, we don't judge. Like, just bring it. Because some classes will be like, if you don't buy my product, you can't do my class. I was just like, you know what? You never know what they're going through. Like, you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what happened.
Afford it at the time.
Yeah, I'm like, just, if you got something, bring it. If you want to buy ours, buy them.
I think that is unheard of here in El Paso.
That we're not forcing you to buy our product.
You're not forcing to buy products. You're for everyone. You're providing free services, not only to work on your body, but to work on your mindset.
And we just want good vibes. Like, I'm just like, why is it, like, I agree. Not saying all of Paso, but just think overall, anywhere in general. I just think fitness groups tend to be so, like, how do you say, clica? Like, just so, like, it's intimidating, right? So I think for us, it's just more like, we just want good juju for everyone. We want you to win. Like, it may sound as corny how, like, it's just like, that's what we want. We just want to see you win, because it's like we all are going through something, or we're gonna go through something. We don't know, that's life. But it's like, I hope you like value this space we've created, because it's like we want you to know that you have someone. You may not have a mom or a friend, but you have us. You have us. Like, vete a ponerte una chinga aquí, but we're gonna be together doing that. You know what I mean?
And I do think it's unheard of, especially the message part of it. And I'm like, hopefully it catches on, because we always said, that's one of our slogans. It's fitness from the inside out. I tell them, the fitness you should be worried about is the inside. I said, and eventually the outside will meet. I said, we've been doing it wrong. We focus on the outside, and then we don't feed the inside. They're never gonna match. Like, you can have the perfect body and you didn't work on your inside, you're gonna have a perfect body and be unhappy. I said it needs to be from the inside out. And I'm all about our city and Juarez. Like, I just, you know, if anybody that knows me, if you start talking bad about El Paso, especially because you just moved out of El Paso, I'm like, shut up.
No, no.
I'm like, shut up. I'm like,
love.
just because you moved out, don't be dissing our city because your city has this. I'm like, que bueno. I'm like, but don't diss us. We're still amazing. And then people that live here and diss, I'm like, why you living here?
Exactly.
I'm like, you got all
My
these
favorite-
options. Why do you live? So for me, it's like, be proud of where you're at. Be proud of where you live. Be proud of your community. Like, El Paso has a lot of things. El Paso and Juarez is a great community. I'm from Juarez. Like, don't
Just
be
being
talking.
a frontera city, like it's just so cool because like I think we're really unique. Like it's cool when I love it when people it's like one or the other, but like when people are like, you're from El Paso, like where is that? And I'm like, yeah, exactly.
They think
Like
we.
it
They
to me
think
it's like
we're on horses.
a little jewel that like no one has seen. I hope we like I know we want to grow, but I'm like I kind of like that because I'm like we like get to cross to Mexico like just walking, and sometimes people don't grasp that. I'm like, yeah, Mexico's like right there. I'm like, and Mexico people come. I'm like, we seriously depend on them coming. Like business runs also because of them, and like
Absolutely.
I don't know, it's just culture wise. I'm like, we
We're a
get
gem.
it. We're a gem. Like we get it.
really are.
Because
We are a gem.
Yeah, that's how I
And
see
I
it.
think don't diss our city. Like, I say, be proud of it. If you're a woman, be proud of that. And I have told the Peaches a lot, do not take this class for granted because it's free. I said, let me tell you what I was charging as a health coach, what I could be making with all the time I spend on this. And it's not to be like, oh, you guys should be very thankful. No, it's like, don't ever let life get so good that you're not grateful for it. I said, just in general, because this class, I said, if we were to charge for it, I said, me personally, what I know now, I would pay $30 like in a heartbeat for this class. I would pay more than that. Why? Because the message, the health coaching part is invaluable. I said, what it brings to your life. I said, the fact that we get to be in a group of like-minded women, I'm like, wow, girls, the friendships that have come out of here, wow. Just how it makes you feel. It's almost like fit church, because I tell everybody, at the end of class, I said, all right, we fed our muscles. I'm like, grab your spot. I turn the lights off. I always put a song for them. It's always a Christian song. It's always about God. And I said, even if you think you don't believe in God, or maybe if you've never been to church, or maybe if you've never heard about God, I said, all I ask is that you open your mind, your ears. I'm like, open your heart. I'm like, don't bring all your prejudgments. I'm like, because sometimes churches or buildings have given you the wrong idea. I said, and you're blaming God for something a human did or said. I said, so just be open and be curious as to how this song will make you feel and what I say, what it does for you. And then that's what we do. We play it, and sometimes I use those lyrics as a message, or sometimes it's another message. Honestly, I'm always like, God, what am I going to talk about? Like, please let it be your words and not mine, because like, I'm just here to like say what you want me to say. And then after that, we all sit up and it's a message, and it just comes out how it comes out. But it's
going to be perceived by
Yes.
their own perspective
Yes.
of what they need at that time.
Exactly. And I said, just be open to it. I said, this is very valuable. Maybe you never go to church, and if you feel this is like your church, perfect. And I always tell everyone, I will talk about God all the time because he's my everything. And I said, and you know what? Be thankful, because if it wasn't for God, we wouldn't even be here right now. I'm like, he's the one who put the idea in my brain. He's the one who lets me have other income so I can lose this one and have a space for us. I said, my creativity, her creativity, our energy, I said, my inner peace, everything that I can share with you is fed by him. I said, so I hope, you find it in your heart to think about that area in your life. And I talk about the big five, which is the biggest five areas in your life. And I said, that's balance. You got to feed all of them for you to truly feel good. I said, exercise and eating is just one. I said, where are you spiritually? Where are you financially? Where are you in your love and your relationships? I'm like, it all forms a circle. And if it's flat in one area, the whole thing is kind of flat. I'm like, where do you want to be? I said, you need to elevate where you're going. And I tell them a lot. I'm like, stop going for the low hanging fruit. I'm like, that fruit's easy. You can just go like this and grab it. I'm like, I want you guys to go for the fruit that's way on top. You gotta jump high for that. I'm like, that's how you should carry yourself. If you want a business, you either use your own finances, your savings, or you go get a loan. This taps into like our purpose, our vision. So I was lucky enough to have the property, and then I explained to her, you know what, you're gonna have to invest a lot of your time, which is money. You know what I mean? Money she could be doing something else.
Paid, I guess.
Recompensated for it.
Yes,
Exactly.
but at the same time, that's what it comes with what we're doing, right? Because the dream is bigger than both of us, because there's so much we want to do. So it's like, if this is what it's gonna take, my whole mindset is it's gonna be worth it. And I mean, the community, every time I see them, and honestly, it's so rewarding. I'm just like, I'm like, we're definitely doing something right. I'm like, I don't like, it may not be ideal on our financial behalf, economically, right? But something in me is just like, it's gonna pay off. It's gonna be worth it, because I'm getting much more with them. And
I think what you guys are putting out is worth way more.
Yes, it
way
really
more.
is.
Yeah.
And every time, maybe other people don't see it, but since we have to put our own money and our own time, all the sacrifice that comes with it, like for example, me personally, on a personal note, there's a lot I can't do. Why? Because I have to make sure I prepared a class. I get bored easily. So that's how I teach my classes. I don't want you to get bored, because why would I teach you something I wouldn't want to be a part of? So I don't repeat classes more than twice.
Okay.
But it's like coming up with a full hour class,
Yeah.
and every song has new moves.
It's kind of like choreography.
Yes.
and then like I'll be like, hey,
And you
pues,
want to keep it exciting, right?
like we'll go back and forth, like, oye, so because we have two different classes for Sundays. One's called thick and one's called dripped. Different styles, but it's funny because I'm like, oye, pues, ¿qué tema va a ser para thick for this class, right? And she's like, no sé. And then I'm like, why don't we try to kind of keep it fun, where I'm like, we're featuring Karol G for this class, and it's just Karol to make
I
it fun
love
because she's
that.
trending.
Yes.
And then Daddy Yankee was gonna retire. We did a Daddy Yankee.
Yeah, 'cause
Bad
we're
Bunny's birthday. We did Bad Bunny song.
Oh, and they put we did classes. Like, Barbie came out. Where like everyone dressed
a
up
Barbie
for
class.
class. O sea,
Yeah,
we
keep it
try to
fun.
keep it fun, and with the songs at least. And then she's over here like
And
mil
it
cosas.
takes
I'm like, oh my
time,
god, yeah.
You know,
it's insane.
it takes time, because by the time you pick your whole playlist, because I try to do a song that's kind of fast, one not so fast, so they can kind of recover. But even just picking your playlist takes time.
Right.
Coming up with moves, and I'm there in my house trying them out, and a lot of things we do with partners, because I like to encourage girls working together. Like one will hold the band, and then the other one has to like pull it. Sometimes I don't have anyone to try it out with at home, and I'm tying my band to like a post, or my son comes in and I'm like, hey, can you hold the band? He's like, no.
Oh.
I'm like, hold on, let me try this move to see if it works.
Uh-huh.
So that on its own is a lot of sacrifice with time. Time is super valuable to me. But my peaches are extremely valuable to me. Their well-being, I'm in a season where I'm giving you something very valuable to me. I'm addicted to traveling, and I haven't traveled since I started BP. Like, I would travel once a month. Like, I might not buy certain things, but I would travel.
That is your luxury.
Yeah.
Yes, but I also understand if I'm gonna do this, I need to give you the time that's required. So there's no traveling, and I hold that very dear to myself. But the sacrifices, they're very much aligned with what's happening, and we're willing to pay the price that it comes with. I think when you do it for the right reasons and what we're doing is good, it will eventually work itself out. That's why we do have some merchandise, and it's been growing, because then a peach will be like, well, I wish you had this bra, and then I'll bring the bra, but see, you don't get to see the backside of it. Well, when I order that bra, there's like a whole process to it. I have to get a sample, we go back and forth, and I can't just order
It's a
five.
lot of, and then it's
I
a
have to
lot
order 50.
it's a
I
lot
need
of
to order 100.
back and forth, and then also like picking what type of font. I'm super picky, and it's like we're going back and forth. So it's just like, but we started with just bands, and now we have all this merch, and it's just like
That's amazing.
you're like, okay, well, we're rolling with this, because like,
Yeah.
well, we need to make some type, like, kind of
We need something
something
to
in the
like
meantime,
just
like,
keep it
we're
going.
chill, we keep it going. And that's
Like
where
it-
the trampoline class, well, the trampoline classes are $5, which I think is so doable, because like,
That's awesome.
I know
We
classes
kept
can
it
be
like, I wanted it free, but I had to buy all the trampolines, obviously, because I can't be like, well, bring your own trampoline. So I just tell the
Okay.
girls it's $5. And after class, everybody has to take their own trampoline and put it back down. I'm like, I'm not putting up no 50 trampolines by myself. I'm like, everybody needs to pull their own weight. And I always tell them, you guys want to keep this class at $5? I'm like, don't destroy my trampoline, because I make them clean it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to see anybody dragging it.
La
I'm
que
like,
lo
pick
quiebra
it.
lo
I'm like,
paga.
I'm like, you have to learn how to protect BP like you would your home, because it is our home. I'm like, I wouldn't go to your home and go break your equipment, or go, lean on your mirror and break it or something. I said, so this is how you treat this space. I'm like, it's a gift for all of us, myself included. I said, so we treat it that way. But we have different, like she said, different visions to where we're going. We want it to be available not just to El Pasoans or people from Juarez. I think they're the lucky ones, because they can come in person and the vibe is so different, right? But even the ones that do go, if you want to work out more than once a week with us, you'll have it available like online. We want to have it all available. And it's going to be available like for $10 a month. Like, we're not trying to break everyone's bank, but we just think it's a movement.
Right.
It's a movement. We're calling it the peach movement. Like, it should have happened a long time ago, and it's very much time for it. There should
We
be
need this.
a
We need
movement.
this
We
peach
need it.
movement.
We
Queremos
really do.
más nalgonas. Queremos
do.
todas las nalgonas.
We wanna
Oh,
open doors.
nalguitas and nalgotas.
I love that.
We recently came up with two of them. Le dije, oye, me gusta. Si no hay ganitas, no hay nalguitas. Y lo si no hay ganas, no hay nalgas.
I love that.
So hopefully new merch dropping soon.
Hey. Yes, absolutely. Do you guys have a date for this merch?
No, but
Not yet?
it
Just
just
thought
came
of
up.
it,
Yeah,
like
it
2
just
days
came
I
up.
love.
Yeah.
I'm like I
You're
know
like,
that already.
Yeah,
Yes.
no.
We do have something coming up for Valentine's.
Oh, for men.
Oh,
We have
that's
our
awesome.
first
So-
male shirt.
Because we want, obviously, boyfriends, husbands,
You guys
sons.
can come to class.
They can't
but,
come to class, but we do love the support, obviously. Like, shit, we need our
we
good men to support
have
us.
we have some peaches that are like, my husband wakes me up and is like, you're gonna be late. Go to your class.
Oh my
So
gosh.
we're like, that's
because
so
who
cute.
wouldn't want their girl to also
Yes.
have a big ass?
And I'm sure they're getting a happier peach when she goes home.
Yes.
And the week just flows a little
It's good
better.
for everyone.
So,
So
you're
we have
welcome,
some-
guys.
Yeah. We have some men that are supportive of the peaches going to their Sunday class, or maybe staying home with the kids while the peach goes and, fills herself up. So we have a new shirt that we wanted to be available for Valentine's. So hopefully the peaches can give it to their men.
That's awesome. I love that.
Diles qué dice.
Oh, it says, we were like, we wanted to say,
Okay,
I love
also-
peaches.
We'll say the shirt, and then I'll tell her the lingo, kind of like.
Oh.
So with this is gonna be weird, but I think you do need to know. We've literally talked about this. I'm like, when we also thought of peaches, the lingo. I'm gonna say the word, but like, is it cariño? Cause we, like, bitch to me is like cari. You know who
Yeah,
does
yeah,
it as
yeah.
a woman, like with your compas? Everyone, everyone.
Everyone,
So I'm
yes.
just like, lo dices okay. I know I'm his bitch, like, But when we said peaches to me, it was like I translate it as bitches. So, but it's like nice, like come on, peaches. In my I'm like, come on, bitches, let's go, like get it done, like. So
Yes.
like I was like, that's the translation eventually, like. So like peach please was like instead of bitch please, peach
Yes,
please.
I love
So
that.
like that's the lingo.
Yes. And I feel like
So
that's so real because a lot of ladies call each other that. And like you said, es de cariño, es de amor, no es
It's like
ay,
algo.
what
it's
up?
not demeaning or
See,
Right.
insulting.
I know, like for some, right? But to us, I'm just like, who doesn't? Like, especially women, I'm just like, it's just like, I don't want this bitch. Like,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But that's kind of like how the lingo there, the translation with peaches sometimes.
Got it.
And we did a men's one, and it's I love peaches.
You know how it also
I
started?
love
But
that.
the heart that I love, it's actually
The
The O.
peach.
The O is a peach.
That is
Yeah.
so
Because men are
cute.
more minimalistic.
Yes.
So
they
it
are.
says love, but the O's are really like juicy peach.
Sí, sí,
Yes.
pero
And then it
sí.
has a little peach in the front. That's in the
That
back.
is so
And
cute.
that one, how it came up, one of my handymans
Uh-huh.
was helping me because we ended up leaving 2 storages on the upstairs, and it became our shop. And our shop is called Culazos.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's
It's
awesome.
Let me tell you, that's another shirt. But culazo doesn't just mean big butt. It
Okay.
also means confidence.
Oh.
I didn't
So-
know until she told me.
I
Right?
love that.
And so I was like, we need a shirt, and that one's culazos. So we actually also have one that says assets. Because I always tell them, you want to be an asset, not,
Not
a
a
liability.
liability.
And it has the
Right.
word ass in it. So we have another shirt called assets. And I do want to share something else with you also
Yeah.
that you should know about our group. I had been wanting to do it, but I don't think we were there as a community. And last year, 2023, we introduced Community Peach. Going back to the whole balance, I said somewhere in your health journey, in your life journey, you need to learn how to serve your community. I said service is just goes hand in hand with complete health. I said if you don't learn how to give the gifts God gave you, I said I guarantee you you will never be completely happy. So we started looking for ways we could help our community. For example, we did Casa de Abuelitas. So for people in El Paso that don't even know, there's a center for homeless grandmas.
Really?
They are
I
homeless
didn't know that.
grandmas.
Wow.
So I contacted the lady in charge and I'm like, what do they need? And what they really need are like toiletries. At the time, I think that was their biggest need. They didn't need like diapers or anything, but like shampoo, cream, stuff like that. So we announced it. I said, we're doing this. I said, again, we're not low hanging fruit. I said, we're going to take it up a notch. I said, if I were like a homeless grandma, I I would like somebody to give me what I need. Maybe like, hey, here's some shampoo and, towels and stuff. But I think I would want somebody to spend time with me because I'm lonely. I'm homeless. I shouldn't be a homeless grandma. So then I said, okay, girls, we're going to do a potluck for them. I said, we're going to go play some games with them. We're going to show them how to exercise. I said, we're not just going to go drop off supplies. I said, I kind of don't like that. I feel like they're still going to feel unwanted by society if we just go drop off shampoos. So then we said, anybody that wants to donate any peach, we got so many things. One of the peaches volunteered and she put little packages. She tied them up in bags with ribbon. So every package had like shampoo, conditioner, cream. It had like at least the 6 things in it. We had enough for each one. We had some left over. We took loteria. We did a potluck for them. We had so much food.
Papa caliente. I mean, they were.
Let me tell you, these grandmas, we also use these little mini balls. And because some of them are in wheelchairs, we gave them all a ball. And we showed them how to even put it in between their legs and squeeze their leg, how to squeeze it with their hands and arms, and just simple exercises that they can do to, improve their health. We played with them the papa caliente in their kitchen, which wasn't
they
even their
were
kitchen.
competitive.
They were feisty. Some
Feisty.
two were about to throw down. We had to separate them. We're like, we got balls for everyone. We got shampoo for everyone. We got food for everyone. We played loteria, and like they even wanted a cheat to win a prize. We danced with them. We did. It just turned out to be great. And I told them, this is something you need to add to your life. I said, it's a must for your health, for your growth, for you to show something different to your kids. We did that one. We did another one called Sleep in Heavenly Peace. It's an organization that I found out through another friend. It's run by veterans here in El Paso, and it's the El Paso chapter, because this one has chapters throughout the United States.
Okay.
So they have this really cool blueprint for a twin bed and for bunk beds.
Okay, got it.
So they invite us to something called a build. So you're literally there cutting wood, sanding it,
Wow.
staining it, pre-drilling the holes, because they have like a little blueprint. And then there's something called a delivery, and you go to the homes and you build the bed for them, and then you give them a mattress, sheets, a blanket, and a pillow. These kids are sleeping on the floor. Some of them have never had their own bed.
Wow.
And I was telling the Peaches, talk about everything we can take for granted. Like your bed. You take it for granted, you use it, abuse it, just make it, you don't make it, but it's there. But what if you didn't have it and you're always on the floor? Or what if you're always having to share a bed with your siblings and you just don't have that space for yourself? So that one was amazing. We did that one more than once because he always needs help. And the Peaches just provide something very special for that organization, because they're mainly men, and the houses that we deliver beds to, or they deliver beds to, it's mainly single women. So for 3 men to show up at your door and say, hey, we're here to build your bed, can be very triggering,
right?
Or it might not feel safe. So he always loves it when we can go, because then we ring the doorbell. We're here for your bed. Where is it going to be? Sometimes you have to move a lot of stuff. Sometimes it's super crowded. But that one was very rewarding. The kids are like, their faces are like, it's mine. Like, it's mine. I have a bed.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
That these organizations were
Yes,
in
we've been
Paso.
seeking them, and I've been very picky
We
about
try to
them
do
too.
one a month.
Yeah.
Right? We've been shooting for one a month at least. We try to pick one different one.
And right now we're kind of in a spot where we're gonna pick the ones for this year and kind of do with that. We learned a little bit last year also on timing, because we just did one. It was a toy drive, and we went to a school in Anapra and took them the toys, but then we got invited to it a little bit late, like in November. So I was telling her, you know what, we're all having to make all these expenses. I said, for next year I want to do that one again, but I want to have the toys already collected like by September. I don't want to be asking for the Peaches for toys like November, when they need to buy their family things. But that's been important to us, and I'm picky to which ones we do, because they have to benefit our locals, because there's a lot of them. But if I can't see who the benefit is going to, no, I just don't even know if they received the help or the donation. So that's what we also added, because you just need to incorporate it somehow. Like, God gave you a lot of gifts, whether it's financial or whether it's a talent you have, whether you can spare a little bit of time. You'd be surprised how much you can help someone else. So that's been an important addition, the community Peach.
Absolutely. With this Peach community, is this on your Instagram? Is there another page for it?
Everything, like, you mean for the community events and stuff?
The Peach
Everything is like, our news is on our stories. Like, anything we announce is stories. It's all on our stories usually. We try to like,
Okay.
very active.
Yes,
We
it
announce
is.
way
It is.
Very.
more than one
I
time.
do see.
Yeah, we announce it way more than one time.
See, yeah, and then Yeah, I'm the one that answers like everything. So like,
And you're fast.
oh
You're
yeah,
good at
I'm on it.
responding.
You know, we were
Yes.
literally talking about this. I don't know if you like, don't you hate it when you like message a business and right away it's like this like automated thing,
Oh, uh-huh.
and like
Yes.
I can't stand that. So like I think another thing that's helped a lot for us to grow is that I'm super on it. I like personally getting answered right away because I get so frustrated when people take forever. So I'm like, I definitely want to do that. You're getting information about our class because you're interested. Therefore, I want to give you that info. And I'm the one that's always answering because I'm like, I don't want you to be talking to a machine. Like, you're literally talking to someone. Like, I want it to be genuine. Like, I care that if you have a question or you're confused, I'm going to answer until you get it. Or feel nice that, like, or you're like, oh, you know, someone answered me. Like, they're actually really nice and answer all my questions.
Right. I feel like that's such a personal touch to your business that is necessary, and it justifies your message, because I have received, when I do reach out, it is an automated message, and I'm like, okay,
And
is
then you're like,
this
a ver, ¿cuándo me contestan?
yeah.
Maybe soon or not that soon. But yeah.
We can always keep it that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes it is a lot of she does a great job because
It's a
it's
24/7
messages.
deal. Like that's the thing that I think another thing people don't get. You have a business and it's 24/7. Like I eat, sleep, speech. Like I'll randomly have ideas and like someone will randomly message me or like I'm doing something. It's like I have to answer like you're in weekends. I'm like there's no chill. Like I don't get to just relax and shut my laptop till Monday. Like it's like no, like ni modo. It does come also nice because like it's flexible, but at the same time it's like I'm working 24/7, so yeah,
Right.
that's how it is.
And so, talking about the Peach community, social media, in-person classes, the growth of your business overall, how do you both come together and make business decisions and kind of, suffice for some things and maybe not so much others? How do you guys do it?
So I'm laughing because I'm like,
FaceTime.
así
go
en
for
veces
FaceTime,
neta
I'll
yo
say
así,
that.
no quiero.
But she takes my calls. She's awesome. She'll take my
So-
call. Yeah, she always answers.
Wait, ya hasta se me olvidó la
I always
pregunta.
I always tell her, I brought you into this
¿Qué fue
world.
la-
I can
what
take
was-
you
what-
out.
qué era
You
la
better answer
pregunta?
my call.
¿Qué era la
Like, how do
pregunta?
we come to decisions?
Um,
You know what?
how do I?
There's no separation.
Which sucks. Not to put it in a mean way, not to put it in a mean
Yeah,
way.
there's no
But,
separation.
I feel like I've always been my mom's right hand. Like, thankfully, that's just how our relationship is. You're a single mom. Like, we just got to be like that. That's all I know.
Again, soulmate, best friend.
Soulmate. I love that.
Pero, I it's hard. It's hard because like I'll face her. I'm like, hey, we need to really do this, or like we need to make this decision. Like, what are we doing? What's like just a lot of planning, and
Yo estoy
then
ahí con mi mascarilla.
yeah, and she's like, ay,
She's
sí,
like,
mija, and then
"Mom,"
like we'll
y
be
yo,
talking about.
Oye, mija, ya hiciste de comer.
No. She's like, ay, ¿qué estás haciendo? Oye, se ve bien limpio el refri, and I'm like, mama, like we're talking business, like it's like we'll go from like business, but then like, oh, we'll catch up, and then okay, call me later because we need to do this, but
Or she'll be like, ¿Cómo hago el caldo de pollo?
Oh,
like,
yeah,
but
the
at the
recipe.
same time, it's like I said, like making a decision could be a little frustrating because like maybe we won't see eye to eye, and like it's making that compromise, but it's also like it's my mom, so it's just like we're partners, but it's like you're not like not like a como te digo, como amiga, like it's you have partners, but they're usually like friends or like acquaintances, like so I don't get to just like I can't, I wouldn't. It's just like I need like space, like people
And I
get to
already
have a
know.
normal job.
I already know. I'll be like, okay, Cricket, I'll call you back later because I'm like, she doesn't want to talk to me right now. And I just give her space.
Because sometimes I'm like,
And that's
oh,
good.
it's a little like I'm like I need space. I'm like, yeah, okay, like because people get to just go to a job and be like, okay, yeah, my boss sucks or whatever. I don't get along with this coworker, and then they get to leave and do their thing, have like a rest, reset, and then go. I don't get to. Like,
No,
'cause
and we
she's-
call each other at random times. Like she said, I just got this idea. She'll call me, and I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm playing tennis. What's up? And then she'll be like, I just got this idea. Okay, text it to me so I don't forget. Or I'll get a random, hey, what do you think about this? No. And I'm like, oh, okay, there goes
I'm
that.
just more.
But it's like, okay, but
Okay,
I will say this.
pero
I don't take it personally.
it's
and
because your
been-
mom,
it's
like,
been
you
a good
want to
thing.
do like your mom pose, and I want to be mean, but I'm like, I get it, pero no. Like, and that's what we were talking about, like. Well, cause to me, I'm like, okay, like I get, like this is where I get, like I respect, like the whole God thing. Like I'm a little different. I'm a little different. I grew up Catholic, obviously the whole dealio, private school, all girls. Like I get it. But my life has just changed. Like I respect it because I tell him like I'm not there, but I do respect it. Um, but there's like things that I'm just like, yo también no somos like I don't want to say like we're not like monjas santas because like we're still
Yeah.
humans. Like we're gonna go out like
And we're
I wanna
not
be
like
able to,
trying
like-
to say we're perfect either. Like we're far from it. We're very real. We try our best. So that's where sometimes, and it's also a very unique thing that we have, I think, which yes, sometimes we don't agree and it works, or just because I find the positive in everything, I'm like, we have two different generations, which is great because I just feel we relate to way more more generations. Like if it was just by myself, I would have that total like mom vibe that she says, like even in the post or how it looks. But we're unique because then we have stuff that appeals to a younger generation, but yet we have something that appeals to an older generation. Or maybe I've gotten this from peaches that message me. They're like your goals, or like we look up to you. So that's cool. Like if I was 20, I wouldn't get that. So we make it work in a way to where we actually don't even fight about it. It's just kind of like we know when to stop.
More silence, just like a lot of
just know when to
silence.
stop
Así,
and not
no,
push.
Yo no me hables ahorita. Así, déjame, just give me space.
process
Así
it.
process.
That's so important. I feel like in our culture too, space doesn't exist in some
Oh
families.
my God, are you like this? O sea, neta, or like, I mean, I don't know if you're like that with your mom. Like, it's just like, isn't it crazy? I was laughing at Instagram and I felt so like related to this chick. She's like, I can't believe I'm like 40 and I'm scared to ask my mom if I could go across the country. Like, what is this? And like, she was Mexican. And I was like, that's so crazy because like, I don't know what it's about Mex. I was like, yeah, like space doesn't matter. Like,
It
there's no
doesn't.
chill. Like,
There's
like,
not
if
that
you-
respect or boundary.
see, like, I don't think we knew boundaries. Like, those were never taught. And it's like, oye, ¿es porque no me has hablado todo el día? No sé, mamá, porque tengo cosas que hacer. Like, estoy
I'm on
respirando.
location all the time. Why can't I see your location? I don't know,
I'm
Mom.
a
I'm like,
31-year-old woman, mom. What are you
Yes.
talking about? Like,
I'm like, I need your location at all times. You guys have mine. Like, come on now.
Mhm.
But
I think it's important to have each other's location. Now that I say that, after when I was younger, I was like, Mom,
oh,
stop.
say
you
no.
know?
I'm just happy we didn't have it back in my time. I'm like my poor brother, right? But I'm like, y'all don't even know half the things I have to be creative about. I'm like, I had to figure it out. You guys, pues no sé cómo le hacen, pero I'm like,
Not my problem.
no me problem. I made it work.
That's awesome. I love
Yeah.
your guys' dynamic and your energy and the way you're not only helping your peaches but the community in general.
I think that's really the movement, honestly. And like I said, much needed. Just something, how refreshing, right? I was just telling the peaches the other day, and it just dawned on me not too long ago. when you're in elementary, you start learning how to have friends. Maybe not so much pick them, and if you're lucky, you have that one little girl that's your friend, or not, or maybe two. It kind of helps it be a better experience. Then you go to middle school, it gets a little harder because then boys come into the mix just because that's the age, right? If you're super lucky, you at least have one good friend that genuinely cares about you. But that's when you start experiencing envy and, well, I like this boy, but he likes my friend, so I don't like her. So then you go through that experience. Then comes high school, right? Some people have horrible high school experiences. Some people have great ones, and sometimes I think it's because you had someone there with you, hopefully your best friend. But then I was thinking, because it happened in my life, when you graduate, I think you're just out in the real world. And like me, for example, I got married and I was a mom. And some of my friends were in college, so we didn't relate anymore. Like, I'm like talking about Disney movies and they're talking about partying in the weekend. So there was such a disconnect to where sometimes I feel once you're in the adult world, you're like almost on your own at that point, or at least that's how it feels. And I was telling the Peaches the other day, if you don't realize it, now you have that friend, now you have that home, because when you're going through something as an adult, you feel like you're the only one going through it. And it happened to me where I was embarrassed to talk about it because I almost felt like it's just me that's going through this. Like, if I tell somebody else, how embarrassing, because they've probably never been through it. And it's that movement, it's that community, because you're not alone anymore. And it's so nice to feel that you're not alone, that you're not the only one going through that. You're not the only one. Yes, you're really not. And if you are, you were created to be, because that's why you're a one of a kind. And it's okay. Like, stop trying to be like the sheep next to you. Stop trying to be like the girl next to you. Like, you were meant to be unique. It's time you own it. And I think that's another thing that's been great about our community. Like, as an adult, where do you go for support? Like where do you go? Sometimes you feel so alone, like you don't connect with certain girlfriends anymore. Or now you're smart enough to shield yourself to say, nah, she's not a good friend. But then where do you find the new one? If you're working and raising kids, where do you have access to that anymore? So finding a community with true like-minded women that are really for you, I'm like, wow, like where was this? I wish I would have had a mentor. I wish I would have had a class that I could go to and then hear a message, a new perspective. I wish I would have had something like that, when I was going through all these seasons, and instead of figuring it out by myself or feeling I couldn't open up to anyone. That's really, I think that's what makes it like, wow, as an adult, where do you go? Right?
I'm really speechless.
Yeah.
I feel any time in your life or any event you're going through, it's that awkward stage
Mm-hmm.
that you just figure it out as you go.
Yeah.
But what's awesome about it is that you're really not alone,
Mm-hmm.
like you were saying. And to physically have that community in person
Mm-hmm.
and on social media with those quotes, with those videos, with those
Mm-hmm.
reels, pushing out that content, it it's helping people.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
You know, if none of them have a mama peach like that, or a sister, a friend that backs them up, I'm like, no, don't ever feel that you're alone, because you're really not once you're a part of us.
I love that. I have one more question for you guys. This is your turn to plug a local Paso business, okay, or just a place in general. But what is your favorite thing to do here in El Paso? Where to eat? Where to go?
That's so hard,
Oh,
wait.
there's so many.
Yo, that's so hard. Favorite place to eat or do?
Yes, anything you
Eso
want to
está
share.
cabrón, güey.
Like, how do you relax? When you relax on your day off, where do you go in El Paso to just feel good?
This makes me laugh because, like, if it were my boyfriend, he'd just be like, I go to Alan J's. He, like, loves that place. Um, that's such a good question. I would probably. Damn, that's really hard because
know.
like I do love coffee. So I
Yeah, she's a
do
coffee
like I
person.
am a coffee person. So I probably like checking out coffee shops that have open. I haven't recently, but one of my favorites, and I'm not trying to just like brag, but I did a mural there at 210. They have really good coffee, and I know the owner's mom. So, like, I don't know, I just really like their coffee. So, probably like relax or get good food would probably be there. I feel like I have another good coffee place. You know, hay tantos. Comida? I'm trying to think. Ay, no sé. Oh, you're putting me on the spot. I feel like I've
I
gone to so
know.
many
Right?
places. If you want to
Let's
say yours, I'm
see.
like, I could go back to
Like
me.
for me, for sure, I don't get tired of it. Is Juicery Plus.
Oh, yeah, that's
They
pretty
have a
good.
burger that it's like a barbecue jackfruit burger because I'm vegan. I love it. I could literally go every day. That's for sure my go-to because I cook, so I really don't eat out too much. But I will definitely do Juicery Plus, like Pampered Body Works EP. I call her Magic Hands Idali. Every Friday.
Oh, yeah, body work.
I
Every
saw that on
Friday.
Instagram.
Every Friday is
Yes.
like, and actually, Fridays is Idalia at Body Works, and I always have, and I eat it all by myself, and I'm not ashamed to say it. It's the Greek vegan pizza at Whole Foods. It's this big,
Oh, it is
I
really
and I
love
finish the
good.
whole thing by myself on Fridays, and
Toda. Se
like
la come
like
toda.
seriously, it's like thank God my kids aren't vegan. I'm like, cause I don't want you to,
I
I
don't
don't
want
want
to
to share my
share.
pizza. One of my favorite places I can't live without is Aruba Sun Spa.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I used to work
I'm
there. I was
addicted
like, that is
to
a good
spray
one.
tans. Yeah,
Well, I used to manage that place. If I was here, like, oh my God, I love it.
we went after I picked you
Paul,
up from the airport.
yeah, like straight away we went there.
She's like, I need a tan. Absolute white
Oh.
tan.
It's the best. Like, it's
Yes.
just, you meet so many cool people, especially women. They love, like, no, they're like, I don't want to be pasty. Like, I would get just so many. And yeah, it's an
Like we
awesome.
have like tan dysmorphia. Like I'm spray tanned and I'll be like, oh, I look so white. She's like, no, I look white, and I'm like, okay, we have tan dysmorphia, but he has like red light beds.
Oh, yes,
Oh, I
red
So
see.
light
it's like
therapy, which is like
red light
super
therapy is
good
the
for you, and the
best.
sauna as
Yes,
well. Aruba is one.
those are my favorite. Other than that, you can't get me off a tennis court. I'm addicted to tennis lately. I play tennis and I do kickboxing. I've been
Oh.
addicted to kickboxing for like a good 6 years now.
Así, no se metan con la nurse B si
Yeah.
quieren un
Like my elbows
That's
are
the tea.
lethal, and they're my favorite.
Wow.
But I'm just like not a violent person.
Pero,
says the big sister
sí,
who
ya
showed
sé, yo
up
así.
to get that girl.
I know. I'm just
güey.
like so not a violent person. But yeah, those are like my happy places are like that. You know, I look forward to playing tennis. I look forward to going to kickboxing,
And
cooking.
those spots in El Paso go back to, they help, those businesses help you put time into you, time and energy to
Yes.
you, and the way you look, the way you feel.
Yes,
And
for sure.
local-
Elite kickboxing.
I was gonna say, and locally
Carlos.
owned.
Yeah, they're locally owned.
Which is cool. We really do love supporting local. So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, everyone check out those places.
Yes.
Ladies, let us know how we can connect with you. Any exciting projects coming up that you'd like to share?
Well, you
The
definitely
Spartan
can
Race,
connect with us on Instagram. That's like our biggest
Yeah,
thing.
for
We
now
do have
there.
Facebook too, if you're more of a Facebook person, but definitely Instagram and any current information you need. It's on our story,
Yeah.
or I'll answer real quick.
Yes.
And it's me answering. 'Cause some people think it's her.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's me. I'm the
you.
one behind the scenes. As far as events, we have the Spartan coming in May. What else do we have coming up?
That one, and we still need to work on our calendar for community peach
So
this
stay
year.
tuned
Yeah,
with
stay
your
tuned for
socials.
that. The Spartan is just gonna be a mega challenge physically for the girls, and I did them by myself. So I told them, you know what, it's completely out of our comfort zone because you have to be able to like pull up your own weight, which is like we're all bottom heavy and it's hard. But we're doing it as a group. So far we have 20, and we're like starting our training for it. So it should be like a really really good experience for all of us too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And one piece of advice you would give to an aspiring entrepreneur, what would it be?
I would definitely say go for it. Like, even if it weren't to go how you think it will, and people will say or call it a failure, like, I absolutely don't think they're failures. I think it's God is literally showing you this is not for you, and you can just eliminate it and try something else. Like, if you look at the best business people or more successful, they're not necessarily doing the first thing they tried. Don't be afraid to find out that's not for you, because then you'll be closer to finding out what is for you. I would definitely say go for it. And I think a very doable way for an entrepreneur to start is just start where you're comfortable. It might not be where you can hire people. Like, look at how we're doing it.
You guys are busting.
It's but we're willing to put in time and effort, and I believe that any entrepreneur should be able to do any job that is required in their business. Like, if you want to open up a restaurant, make sure you know how to clean it, how you know how to cook all your dishes, how you should be able to do every job, because then you'll be a better boss. You'll be able to train people better. But I just don't be afraid. Just do it. Just try it. And if it doesn't work, try something else. There's no shame in it. I've had many businesses, and every business or experience will give you something very valuable. So I say, just you've been thinking about it. Like, it's time to just
Take
do
action.
it. Just do it. Try it.
I love that.
Just try it.
Awesome.
But give it your all.
Mine would probably be, I guess it would be two things. Staying genuine, because in this world, I think that's really hard, and you want to detour because you want to be the cool kid. And if stay like in tune with the vision, like, because it'll be worth it. I feel like it really is. And don't give up. Like, there's been moments that I'm like, why am I doing this? But at the same time, you're just like, oh my God, like, how am I here? Like, and you just keep going. When you, like she always says, like, when you stay in your lane, it's just keep doing it. Like, it just, things will fall into place. And I've seen it happen slowly but surely, and I can't wait to see what's to come. I mean, we're only 2 years in, which is crazy. And sometimes also don't doubt it. Don't doubt it, even because that's so easy to do. I've done it. I've personally done it where I'm like, oh my God. And then it's like, nah, like, just keep doing it. Like, you've come this far. Imagine, like, in more years, that time is going to be repaid double or more. But yeah, those would be my 2 cents. And yeah, just how she said, go for it. Like, you'll learn so much more about yourself. I think it's also a learning process, and I think that's pretty cool. I think don't be scared to learn about yourself.
I love that.
You're possible of anything. Like, you have so many possibilities. So yeah.
Absolutely. Ladies, thank you so much
you.
for your
Thanks for having
time,
us.
your words of wisdom, everything. I appreciate you guys so much. And again, everyone, please check out their social media. They're going to be pushing out more merch, more classes, more events, and I'm so excited
If
for
you
your
have
journey.
nalguitas or nalgas, don't be afraid to come.
All
Please.
shapes.
All shapes and sizes.
All peaches
All welcome.
are welcome.
All peaches are welcome.
Alrighty. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next episode. Adios.
Bye.